Yes, whether we accept it or not, the happenings on the corridors of power, affects you and me in one way or the other. So we must talk about it. And before we do that this morning, let me bring you up to speed on the happenings on our political space. The first story we have for you this morning is EFCC gets Supreme Court's nod to probe Peter Odele's tenure. Now, in a landmark ruling on Monday, March 10th, 2025, the Supreme Court of Nigeria dismissed appeals filed by the Attorney General of Rivers State and the Speaker of the State House of Assembly against the leave granted to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) by the Court of Appeal to contest an order of perpetual injunction of the Federal High Court, Port Harcourt, that barred the commission from investigating Dr. Peter Odele's tenure as governor of the state. This dismissal by a five-member panel of the Apex Court, led by Justice John Okoro, effectively cleared the pathway for the commission to investigate Dr. Odele's 8-year rule of the oil-rich state and brought to an end EFCC's long-standing legal battle to probe the administration. The legal dispute began in 2007 when Odele, who served as Rivers State Governor from 1999 to 2007, obtained an order of perpetual injunction from the Federal High Court sitting in Port Harcourt, barring the EFCC from investigating, arresting, and prosecuting him, as well as prohibiting the anti-graft agency from examining the finances of the Rivers State government during his tenure through the EFCC. Has contested the injunction since 2008. The order has effectively shielded Odele from any scrutiny by the Commission for nearly 2 decades. In 2018, the Court of Appeal granted the EFCC's request for leave to appeal the Federal High Court's decision, which prompted the Attorney General of Rivers State and Speaker of the State House of Assembly to file separate appeals at the Supreme Court, seeking to overturn the appellant court's decision. Now, another story we have for you on this particular edition of Political Assembly on EBEONADI 103.5 FM is Natasha takes case against Akpabio to enter Parliamentary Union meeting. Yes, the suspended lawmaker representing Kogi Central at the Senate, Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, has taken her case against the President of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, to the global stage. This was as she tabled her plight at the Women in Parliament session held at the Inter-Parliamentary Union Meeting, IPU, at the United Nations in New York. According to her, she is seeking justice and intervention of global democratic institutions. She also described her suspension from the Senate as illegal, adding that there are indications that she may be held against her will by the powers that be from Nigeria for speaking up in New York. Natasha was suspended after engaging in a shouting match with Akpabio over the new sitting arrangement in the Senate, which she said was unfavorable to her. This was after Akpabio refused to take her contribution at plenary for not speaking from the new seat assigned to her. The debacle between the both of them got heated after Natasha went on national television to accuse Akpabio of punishing her for refusing his sexual advances. She also submitted a petition detailing how she was allegedly sexually harassed by the president of the Senate. Now, the next story we have for you on this particular edition of Political Assembly is ahead of 2027, PDP, Labour Party caged as opposition coalition eyes SDP. Now, with major opposition platforms, the People's Democratic Party (PDP) and the Labour Party entangled in intense internal wrangling, the prospects of the Social Democratic Party (SDP) leading the much anticipated coalition ahead of 2027 have risen. This follows former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai's resignation from the All Progressive Congress (APC) and his new membership of the SDP. El-Rufai, a founding APC member, defected to SDP shortly after he met behind closed doors with former Osun State Governor and the Interior Minister Rauf Aregbesola and Pastor Tunde Bakare, a former presidential running mate of the former president Muhammadu Buhari El-Rufai, who has become a key figure in the opposition coalition movement, also met with Buhari in Kaduna last week, during which he was believed to have told the former president about his defection plan. Other coalition members discussed are former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, former Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi, former Minister of Transportation Chibuike Amechi, and former Attorney General and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami. The coalition aims to stop President Bola Tinubu from getting a second term in the 2027 election. Newsmen learned yesterday that El-Rufai's move to SDP was to gauge the ruling party's reaction, after which other opposition members would follow suit. An insider who pleaded anonymity hinted that besides the known politicians in the coalition movement, the former Kaduna State Governor hopes to woo members of the CPC camp who have been relegated within the APC. The Congress of Progressive Change (CPC) was formed by Buhari ahead of his unsuccessful presidential bid in 2011. He was to lead the party into a merger with Bola Ahmed Tinubu's Action Congress of Nigeria ahead of the 2015 election, in which Buhari won presidency on his fourth attempt. Now, still on the happenings on our political space this morning, the next story we have for you is crisis in opposition parties, sponsored by Tinubu's government, says El-Rufai. Now, the immediate past governor of Kaduna State, Malam Nasir El-Rufai, has alleged that the crisis being faced by opposition parties like the PDP, Labour Party, and MPP, amongst others, were being sponsored by the government of the day. El-Rufai stated this during a visit to the Social Democratic Party (SDP) national headquarters on Tuesday, barely 72 hours after he resigned from the ruling All Progressive Congress (APC) to SDP. Newsman recalls that El-Rufai, who was one of the founding members of the ruling party, resigned and joined the opposition party on Monday. In a statement issued on Monday announcing his defection, El-Rufai said developments in the last 2 years confirmed that those who currently control and run the APC did not desire to acknowledge, much less address, the party's unhealthy situation. Yes, still on the happenings on our political space, but bordering on the Red Chamber, Labour Party youths seek Senator Emerson's recall for role in Apoti Uduaghan's suspension. Now, the youth wing of the Labour Party has pushed for the recall of a Labour Party member, Senator Neda Emerson, from the Senate for her poor representation and conduct at the Senate in light of, for his poor representation and conduct at the Senate in light of his role in the recent suspension of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan from the higher chamber. The Labour Party youths also asked the Senate to immediately rescind the Akpoti-Natasha's suspension and reconstitute a committee to properly investigate the sexual harassment allegations against Senate President Godswill Akpabio. While the youth demanded the Senator Emerson be rescued from the reconstituted committee, they insisted that Akpabio must present himself for investigation by an unbiased arm of government. Emerson, representing Edo South Senatorial District on the platform of the Labour Party, was chairman of the Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges, and Public Petitions, which recommended Akpoti-Uduaghan's suspension for indiscipline. The national youth leader of the Labour Party, Prince Kennedy Arnault, described Senator Emerson as a non-compliant Labour Party member who was used as a willing tool to humiliate Akpoti-Uduaghan, who he described as a youthful voice in the Senate. He condemned what he called the rascality perpetrated by the Ethics and Privilege Committee led by Neda Emerson in clear violation of an order of the court. He wondered why the Senate panel, which was set for March 11, 2025, mysteriously and hastily rescheduled its meeting for 5th March 2025.